The courtroom was quiet. Everyone waited. The judge sat tall behind his desk, looking serious. People whispered softly as the door opened. And then she walked in. Kira Adams, 22 years old, famous on social media. Bright clothes, perfect makeup, and a phone in her hand like it was glued there. She walked like she owned the room. No fear, no shame. People stared as she smiled for the cameras outside the courtroom. Even now, facing criminal charges, she looked like a celebrity. Kira sat down and took out her phone. Click. A quick selfie. Hashtag court vibes, hashtag still cute, she posted. The bailiff frowned. The judge looked down at her with sharp eyes. Miss Adams, he said, please put your phone away. She didn't even look up, just nodded and tapped a few more buttons. Everyone could feel the tension building. Kira was in court for reckless driving. She had driven 80 miles per hour in a school zone, almost hit a child. The child's mother sat quietly on the side, her hands shaking. But Kira didn't care. To her, this was all a joke. People take life too seriously. She once told her followers in a live stream, I'm young, I'm rich, I'm just having fun. The judge looked at the file in front of him. He had seen many cases before, but something about this one was different. It wasn't just the crime. It was the attitude. Miss Adams, he said again, louder this time. Do you understand the seriousness of these charges? Kira looked up finally, her voice light. Yes, Your Honor, she said with a smirk. But honestly, I think this is all a little too much. It was just a fast drive. No one got hurt. The judge's face didn't change. He was calm. But inside, something shifted. He watched her, her smile, her eyes, her phone. And then she did something shocking. She raised her phone and took another selfie. Right there in court. Click. Hashtag court look, hashtag judge looks mad. The courtroom gasped. Even the officers near her looked confused. The judge leaned forward slowly. Young lady, he said, I will say this once. This court is not a playground. Do not take this lightly. Kira just leaned back and crossed her legs. I'm not, she said. I just think we all need to chill. It's not like I'm a criminal or something. A silence filled the room. The judge closed the file slowly, then looked her directly in the eyes. Miss Adams, he said in a cold, steady voice, you are about to face something no filter can hide from. This court is ready to deliver your sentence. Kira sat up, surprised. Wait, already? You were warned. You chose to laugh. But this was supposed to be a fine, right? Maybe community service. The judge didn't blink. No, Miss Adams, this is more than that now. He turned to the court officer. Is the report ready? Yes, Your Honor. The judge nodded. He looked back at Kira. Your sentence will be served immediately, and I promise you this, it will be something you'll never forget. Kira's smile slowly faded. Her hands dropped from her phone. For the first time, she looked confused, scared even. What does that mean? She asked. The judge didn't answer. He stood up. This session is closed. Details will be shared soon. With a bang of the gavel, the hearing ended. People stood up in shock. Whispers filled the room. Kira sat frozen. She wasn't trending anymore. She was in trouble. Outside the courtroom, reporters gathered like bees. What just happened? What sentence did she get? Was it jail? Is the judge serious? No one knew. But one thing was clear. Kira Adams' perfect world was starting to crack. And this was only the beginning. Kira Adams sat in the cold courtroom hallway. Her phone was gone. Her smile was gone. Her manager wasn't picking up the phone. Her friends weren't texting back. The only sound was the echo of her heels tapping nervously on the floor. She didn't understand. Why wasn't this over yet? She was famous. She was rich. All this for one mistake. She looked up as a police officer approached. Come with me, he said. Kira stood up slowly. Where are we going? You'll hear it inside. A few minutes later, Kira stood once again before Judge Halden. But this time, there was no crowd, no reporters, no camera lights. Just silence. The judge looked at her, calm but firm. Miss Adams, he said, you have made your opinion clear. You think the law is a joke. You think people's lives are entertainment. Kira tried to speak, but he raised his hand. You mocked this court. You mocked this system. You mocked a mother whose child almost died because of you. Kira looked down. Her hands were shaking now. This court will not punish you with money, he continued, because money means nothing to you. She looked up slowly. Then what? She whispered. The judge paused, then said the words that made her heart stop. You are hereby sentenced to 90 days in community custody at Brightstone Correctional Facility. Kira blinked. Wait, jail. The judge continued, but not just any jail. He opened a folder and read the terms. You will be placed in a low-security women's rehabilitation unit. No phone, no internet, no social media, no brand deals, no followers, no filters. Kira gasped. You can't do that. I can, and I have. You will live with real women, women who've made mistakes, just like you. But unlike you, they are trying to change. He closed the file and looked her in the eyes. This sentence isn't to break you, Miss Adams. It's to wake you up. Kira shook her head. This is insane. The judge stood up. You will be transported in 1 hour. I hope, by the time you return, you're not just a name on an app, but a person who understands what life really is. Then he walked out of the room. Kira sat in shock. The words repeated in her head. No phone, no social media, no followers. For the first time in her life, she felt alone. She was taken to a van. No cameras followed, just silence. As the city faded behind her, she stared out the window with empty eyes. 2 hours later, the van stopped in front of Brightstone Correctional Facility. It wasn't what she expected. No scary barbed wires. No dark cells. It looked almost like a school. Simple brick walls, a garden, and a tall fence. But the fear inside her heart grew stronger. She was given plain clothes. No designer bags. No makeup. No perfume. She was no longer Kira the influencer. Just Kira Adams, inmate #4526. A woman walked up to her inside. She was tall, with kind eyes and short hair. I'm Maya, she said. I've been here 3 months. You? Kira hesitated. I just got here. Maya smiled softly. You'll learn fast. I don't belong here, Kira said quickly. This is all a big mistake. Maya looked at her calmly. None of us thought we belonged here, but you'll see. Sometimes life brings you here not to punish you, but to teach you. Kira turned away. She didn't want lessons. She wanted her phone back, her followers, her life. But all she had now was silence. That night, she sat on a hard bed in a small shared room. No lights from her screen. No messages, no likes. Only her own thoughts. And for the first time, she didn't know what to post. She just sat there, alone. Kira Adams sat on the edge of her prison bed. It was 6 a.m. Cold, silent. No alarm, no coffee, no sunlight through a glass window. Just a loud bell that woke everyone up at once. Time to clean, the guard shouted. Kira blinked in confusion. Clean. Maya, her cellmate, was already up. Yeah, Maya said. Every morning. Bathrooms, floors, kitchen. Kira's face twisted in disgust. I don't clean. I have people for that. Maya smiled softly. Not anymore. Here, we clean our own mess. Kira stayed frozen for a moment. She couldn't believe this was real. By 6:15 a.m., She was holding a mop. Her nails chipped, her hair messy, her designer attitude fading. The other women didn't care who she was. No one asked for selfies. No one followed her. No one liked her posts. Here, she was just Kira, a girl who made a mistake. She tried to act tough, but inside, she was falling. Later that day, during group therapy, a counselor named Miss Elena spoke to the women. She was kind but firm. Today, she said, I want everyone to share why they're here. One by one, the women spoke. I stole food for my kids. I attacked someone who hurt my sister. I lied to the police because I was scared. Real stories, real pain. Kira stayed quiet. Miss Elena looked at her. Kira shrugged. I don't belong here. Miss Elena nodded slowly. Why do you think that? Kira looked away. I'm not like them. I didn't do anything serious. I was just having fun. One of the women frowned. You almost hit a child. Kira's eyes widened. I didn't mean to. But you didn't stop either, another voice said. You laughed, took pictures, called it a joke. Kira stood up. You don't know me. Miss Elena spoke calmly. Maybe they don't, but do you know yourself, Kira? Silence. Kira's mouth opened, but no words came out. She sat down, and for the first time in a long time, she felt small. That night, Kira lay awake. Her hands hurt from scrubbing floors. Her back ached. She missed her bed, her followers, her fame. She opened her small locker, hoping to find comfort. Inside, Maya had left a note. Falling isn't the end, Kira. Sometimes it's how you find the ground again. Kira held the paper tightly. She didn't cry, but her eyes were wet. She didn't know what was happening inside her, but something was changing. The next morning, she didn't wait for the guard to yell. She got up early. Maya looked surprised. You okay? Kira nodded. I'll try cleaning today. And she did. She mopped. She folded blankets. She helped another girl carry water. For the first time in her life, she did things not for a post, not for attention, but just to be useful. And it felt strange. It felt real. In the lunchroom, some girls laughed at her. Queen of Selfies now wipes floors. Kira heard them, but she didn't answer. She just kept eating. Maya smiled. That's growth. Kira gave a small smile back. But deep inside, she still wondered, could someone like her really change? Back in her room, she wrote something on a blank paper. I was blind. I used to think likes made me loved. But now I know. I was just lonely. She folded the paper and placed it under her pillow. That night, she didn't scroll. She didn't pose. She just breathed. The fall had begun. But for the first time, Kira was learning how to stand again. It had been 3 weeks since Kira Adams entered Brightstone Correctional Facility. 3 weeks without her phone. 3 weeks without makeup, photo shoots, or followers. And something strange was happening. She was starting to feel human. Kira walked into the garden area with Maya. She looked around. Women were planting flowers. Some were painting a wall. Others sat reading or just talking. There were no cameras, no filters, no fake smiles. Just people, real, broken, healing. Kira sat on a bench and took a deep breath. This place is ugly, she said. Maya laughed. Yeah, but the people here, we're trying to grow something beautiful inside. Kira looked at her hands, once used only for selfies, now stained with dirt from helping in the garden. She never imagined her life like this. But strangely, she didn't hate it. Later that day, the counselor Miss Elena called Kira into her office. You've been quiet lately, she said, but I can see you're thinking. Kira nodded. I don't know who I am without the phone. Miss Elena leaned forward. Then maybe this is your chance to find out. Kira looked away. Before, I didn't care about people. I just wanted to be liked. And now, I think, I want to be known. Miss Elena smiled. That's the start, Kira. Want to take it further? How? I want you to help a new girl who just arrived. Be her guide. Kira blinked. Me? Yes. Show her around. Help her adjust. Teach her what you've learned. Kira hesitated, but then nodded. Okay, I'll try. That evening, she met the new girl. She was young, scared, holding a small bag. Kira saw her younger self in her eyes. Hey, Kira said softly. I'm Kira. What's your name? Lena. You hungry? The girl nodded. Kira led her to the cafeteria, sat with her, told her what to expect. Lena looked at her. You don't seem like someone who belongs here. Kira smiled. Trust me, I didn't think so either. For the first time, she wasn't the star. She was the helper. And it felt good. Back in her room, Kira took out a piece of paper. She began to write. Dear me, I hope you're proud. Not of how many people liked your photos, but how many hearts you touched without even trying. She folded the letter and placed it next to the first one. Maya walked in. You've changed. Kira looked at her. I'm trying. Maya sat beside her. That's all that matters. The next day, during group therapy, Miss Elena asked the women to share one thing they were proud of. Some women talked about writing letters to their families. Others talked about helping in the kitchen or reading books. Then it was Kira's turn. She stood slowly. I'm proud that I stopped performing. Everyone looked at her. I'm proud that I listened, that I didn't just hear my own voice for once. I helped someone yesterday. Not for likes, not for attention, just because I wanted to. Silence filled the room. Then gentle claps. Real claps. For the real Kira. And in that moment, she felt seen. Not as a celebrity, but as a person. That night, Kira stared at the ceiling in the dark. She missed her old life. A little. But she wasn't sure if she wanted to go back to it completely. There was a new peace in her. Something she had never known before. And that peace came from real connection. Not followers. Not filters. Just people. Kira was in the prison library when the guard came. You have a visitor. She looked up, surprised. A visitor. The guard nodded. Your first one. Kira's heart beat faster. She followed the guard through the long hallway. The walk felt different today. Her steps were slower. She wasn't scared. But she wasn't excited either. She had no idea who it could be. Inside the visiting room, a woman sat in high heels, designer clothes, and sunglasses. Kira stopped walking. She knew that style. She knew that smile. Ava stood up. Kira. Oh my God. Finally. They hugged. But Kira felt strange. Ava smelled like perfume and glitter. Her voice was loud, her laugh fake, just like the world Kira had left behind. They sat down. You've changed, Ava said, studying her. Your hair, your skin, you look so plain. Kira smiled. Thanks. Ava laughed. No, I mean, girl, we need to fix you. The internet is missing you. I'm here to help. Kira raised an eyebrow. Help. Ava took out a phone. Listen, I spoke to a brand. They want a comeback video. A crying apology. You'll say you were misunderstood. I'll record it right now. Just say the lines. Kira froze. Lines? Fake tears. Again. Ava looked at her. You want your followers back, right? Kira leaned back in her chair. She had dreamed of this moment before. Someone begging for her to return. To give her spotlight back. But now, it didn't feel right. Kira shook her head. I'm not doing that. Ava blinked. Wait. What? I'm not pretending. Not anymore. Ava laughed, thinking it was a joke. Oh, come on. This is the chance to fix everything. No, Kira said softly. This is the chance to be someone new. Ava's smile faded. You've really gone soft, huh? No, Kira whispered. I've finally become strong. The guard walked over. Time's up. Ava stood. You'll regret this. When you're out, no one will care. The internet moves on fast, Kira. Kira stood too. I hope it does. They looked at each other. Two girls from the same world, now on very different paths. Ava turned and walked away, still scrolling her phone. Kira watched her go. And for the first time, she didn't feel left behind. She felt free. Back in her room, Maya asked, who came to visit? An old friend, Kira said, but I'm not sure she ever really knew me. What did she want? My past life back. Maya looked at her, and I said no. Maya smiled. That's brave. Kira looked out the small window at the sky. Maybe, or maybe, I'm just finally tired of being fake. That night, Kira picked up her pen. She wrote a new letter. Dear world, I was famous, but I was also lost. Now I'm found, not by 1,000,000 followers, but by a few real people who see the real me. She folded the paper, and this time, she didn't hide it. She left it on her table. Let the world read it. She had nothing to hide anymore. Kira Adams stood in front of a small mirror in her prison cell. Her hair was neatly tied back. No makeup, no jewelry, no filters. Just her. Today was her court date. Not a trial, not a punishment. A review hearing to decide if her sentence could be reduced. As she stepped into the van that would take her to court, Maya hugged her. Whatever they say, I'm proud of you, Maya said softly. Kira nodded. Thank you. For everything. The van door closed. She took a deep breath. The last time she was in court, she had laughed at the judge. She had taken selfies. She had made a joke out of justice. Now she was walking back in as a different person. But would anyone believe her? The courtroom was packed. News reporters were there. Her case had gone viral when it first happened. Now they wanted to see how it would end. Kira walked in slowly. This time, no one clapped. No one shouted her name. No fans. No haters. Just silence. The judge looked up. The same man she mocked before. Judge Palmer. His face was serious. He remembered her well. Kira stood tall. Not proud. Not scared. Just honest. Miss Kira Adams, Judge Palmer began. You're here today for a sentence review based on reports of good behavior and personal reform. Do you have anything to say before we decide? Kira stepped forward. She looked at the judge, then at the crowd. She took a deep breath and spoke. I came here today not to ask for freedom, she said. I came to take responsibility. The room was still. When I first came to this courtroom, I thought I was untouchable. I thought fame made me special. I mocked this court. I mocked you, Your Honor. I mocked the law. People shifted in their seats. But prison changed me, not because it's hard, but because it showed me who I was. She paused. I was empty. I needed likes to feel loved. I needed attention to feel alive. Now her voice was shaking. But inside, I was lost. The judge watched her quietly. Kira continued. I met women who went through real pain. I learned to listen. I cleaned toilets. I helped a new inmate feel safe. And for the first time, I gave, without expecting anything in return. She looked straight at the judge. I'm not asking for a shorter sentence. I'm asking for a second chance, not just outside these walls, but inside myself. She lowered her eyes. That was all. The room was silent. No one expected that. Not from her. Judge Palmer looked at her for a long moment, then spoke. Miss Adams, when you first came here, I saw nothing but ego. Today, I see growth. Kira looked up, surprised. I read the letters you've written in prison. I spoke to the counselors. I even read the one you left on your table last night. Kira blinked. He had read it. The letter to the world. Judge Palmer leaned forward. I believe in consequences, but I also believe in change. And today, I believe you have changed. Gasps from the room. He looked at the file. Your sentence will be reduced. You will serve 1 more month, then be released under supervision. But this isn't your ending, Miss Adams. This is your real beginning. Kira's hands shook. She felt tears fill her eyes. Not because she was going free, but because for the first time, someone saw the real her and didn't turn away. She left the courtroom, not smiling, not posing, just breathing. Free in a new way. Back in the van, she looked out the window. This wasn't a comeback moment for the internet. It was a comeback for her soul. 1 month later, Kira Adams stood at the gates of Brightstone Correctional Facility. She had no bags, no makeup, no camera crew, just a small journal and a heart full of new dreams. The gates opened. She stepped outside. The sun touched her face like it was saying, "Welcome back." But this was not the same Kira who walked into court months ago. That girl was gone. This was someone new. A car was waiting for her. It wasn't fancy. No limo. No paparazzi. Just Maya, sitting in the driver's seat, smiling. "You ready?" she asked. Kira nodded. More than ever. They drove in silence for a while. The city looked different now. Kira noticed things she never cared about before. People on benches, kids playing, an old woman feeding birds. She wasn't looking for perfect pictures anymore. She was looking for truth. Maya dropped her off at a small apartment. Simple. Clean. It wasn't a mansion, but it was hers. Inside, Kira looked around. A bed. A table. A little desk. No ring lights. No mirrors. Just peace. On the desk was a small envelope. Her counselor, Miss Alina, had mailed it earlier. Kira opened it. Inside was a note. "Your story is powerful. Use it to heal, not to impress. Alina." Tears filled Kira's eyes. She sat down and opened her journal. Later that night, she got a text. It was from Ava. "Call me. I have a big offer. You're trending again." Kira stared at the screen. Trending. Again. She opened her old social media account. It had been reactivated without her permission. Thousands of comments. "Queen is back. She deserves better. New Kira is boring. She's fake woke." Her name was back on every page. And yet, it meant nothing now. She sat quietly. The phone buzzed again. She turned it over, screen facing down. Then she picked up her pen and began to write a new post, but not online, just on paper. "Dear followers, I chased fame until I lost myself. Now I'm choosing something different. Silence over noise, kindness over claps, truth over trends." She folded the page and placed it in her journal. The next day, Kira walked into a local community center. They were starting a program to help young girls learn about confidence and real self-worth. The woman in charge smiled. "You sure you want to volunteer? It's not glamorous work." Kira smiled back. "I don't want glamour. I want to help girls see who they really are, before the world tells them who to pretend to be." The woman handed her a name tag. "Welcome, Kira." Kira pinned it on. Not influencer. Not celebrity. Just Kira, a girl who once fell apart, and then rebuilt herself, one honest piece at a time. That evening, she received one last message. This time, it wasn't from a fan or brand. It was from Lena, the scared girl she once helped in prison. "I'm out too. Got a job. Thank you for seeing me." Kira smiled. That was the real kind of fame. Not numbers. Not views. Just lives touched. She looked at the sky from her window. No filters. no edits, just beauty as it was. And she whispered to herself,